More on this, I'm joined by Gillian Turner. She is a former member of the White House National Security Council staff under both Presidents Bush and Obama, and a Fox News contributor. You say, Gillian, that the director of the CIA is playing an important role here in essentially buttressing his troops.
Absolutely. John Brennan's voice in this debate is crucial. He's the only person who's standing up and reminding us that the American intelligence community is comprised of some of our best and brightest minds the country has to offer, people who put their lives on the line across the globe in order to defend the homeland and defend our interests abroad. He's also the only person who's encouraging the American public not to fall prey to scorn and recrimination and even denigrating an agency that is by design intended to keep us safer.
Yeah, and intended to keep things secret as well.
That's certainly a part of the equation, yes.
Yeah. What is morale like at the CIA right now in the wake of this Senate report? Are you hearing anything there?
Well, I think that the CIA feels that a lot of important truths are getting obscured in the political battle that has erupted in Washington over this issue. There's a little bit of a false dichotomy at work right now that's leading the American public to believe that they've got to either support the release of this report on the one hand or the intelligence community on the other. The reality is that the American people can choose to support or oppose the release of this report. They can choose to support their favorite Democrat or Republican, and at the same time acknowledge and appreciate the role that agencies like the CIA play in keeping us safe, as evidenced by the fact there's been not a single successful attack by a terrorist organization perpetrated on a mass scale on American soil since 9/11.
The conclusion that the Senate reaches is that the enhanced interrogation techniques were not effective in pulling information out of some of these suspects. John Brennan says that is absolutely not the case, that they did get information from these people. You know, despite the presence of this, voluminous report, how is one supposed to come to a real conclusion about that?
Well, I mean, I would point attention to current and even former leaders of the intelligence community. We heard Director Hayden speaking about this over the weekend, reiterating the same point, which is that far from concluding that these interrogation techniques were ineffective, they've actually been proven incredibly effective.
You say there are some dangers for the American intelligence community and for American personnel resulting from the release of this report.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of public conversation has tended to focus on what I would call immediate or short-term dangers, which are important, such as the potential for anti-American violence abroad against our diplomats, our military, and our intelligence officers. But there's also some very real longer-term dangers. One of these being the idea that our CIA analysts and operatives are going to feel tried and convicted on this matter, virtually in absentia. And as we move forward, they're going to be well within their rights to feel less inclined to do the things it's going to take to keep us safe, in the battle against al-Qaeda and other terrorist organizations proliferating across Africa and the Middle East.
Do you think that some of those who put this information out there are sort of forgetting what it felt like in the days immediately after 9/11. I mean, Dianne Feinstein was getting briefed on so much of this, wasn't she?
Well, yeah, and reporting is that the committee has been fully briefed all the way through. I think that objections surround sort of the handling of CIA leadership in the aftermath of 9/11. But I think it's especially easy during a time like this where we haven't had an attack on American soil in 13-some years to forget what it takes to actually maintain that status and what it takes to actually defend not only Americans here as we go about our daily lives and protect our way of life, but what it takes to protect our interests and our assets overseas.
Yeah. Gillian Turner is a Fox News contributor and a former member of the White House National Security Staff. Gillian, thank you.
Thanks, John.
A young woman